Greetings. This is the Getto Free Press, and we're in Valdosta, Georgia. I'm on my way to Gordon tonight to have city council meeting, and I've been asked to come up there and record that meeting. After all, you know that too often the information in the black experience, the news is ignored, and we want you to know the rest of the story. While standing here in Valdosta at a local business, my friend John Robertson, you see him on my videos, you hear me talk about him a lot. Well, he is here today, and I want him to address you on any issue he wants to. Because once again, it's just what happened in Ferguson. But guess what? We have a Ferguson right here in Valdosta. We have a Ferguson in Quitman, Georgia. We have a Ferguson in Meigs, Dawson, Gordon, Warrenton, Lumpkin, Georgia, Davisboro. We just got Fergusons all around, and people are dying. But we don't have any newspapers or radio or television to tell our story. Let's listen to Minister Doc Robinson from Antioch Baptist Church, a very powerful keystone in our community. Hear ye, O Israel.
I applaud the people for standing up in Ferguson. You know, I hear so many people talking about how wrong these people are as far as routing on the street. Nothing will never get done until that type of thing occur. You know, back there when Martin Luther King got killed, I was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and we marched downtown and demanded that they fly a black flag. And when we want that flag to fly, you know, above the American flag, but we didn't get that accomplished. But they brought them all down half-mast, and they did did fly the flag, and we did accomplish our goal, you know. But things don't just happen because you want to be Mr. Goody Two-Shoes all the time. And I'm a minister, and I'm going to tell you the truth. We can stand on the sideline. I hear everybody talking about how the people, how shameful it is, and everything of that nature. But it's one thing to be a known fact. If we don't make a stand, these senseless killings are going to continue. And I applaud those people for standing up and protesting, regardless to what form of protesting that they're doing. We got some that says that it's shameful, and we understand the route that businesses take and the route that things take when things occur. We understand that. And there's no one further than the truth than we are. We know what it's like, but do anyone hear the truth? Do people want to face the facts? The fact of the matter is that as long as we are praying and standing under the corner with the Bible underneath our arms and being classified as a good Negro and trying to do things in a diplomatic manner, nothing never changes. We don't have no financial institutions in our neighborhoods and our communities. We don't have no major corporations in our neighborhoods. We don't have nothing constructive in our neighborhoods. We don't have anything. So when it boils down, the little things that we do have, we try to distill the pride in our children. We say it starts at home. Of course it do. But now, when you want to say it starts at home, it also starts out there. And what I mean by it starts out there is that the things in the street undo the things that you put in your children at home. And it's because of the poverty level that we have to live and living as an oppressed people all the time. We are striving to get on top. But when you don't have anything, you don't have nothing. You don't have no financial institutions. You don't, to be honest, you don't even have a country. You got a green card that the president signs every so many years that you can stay here for another 200 years. That don't even make any sense. That President Bush, he signed a waiver that we can remain in this country for 200 more years. People better wake up and listen to what that's saying. God bless America. You know, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic of which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Is that really true? Where do we go from there? Do we really believe that? Can we say that's factually true? Don't think so, because we're steady seeking for equilibrium. There's no justice in this country for no black man. And we hear all those extremists and those radicals get up and they'll say those things. Now the ones I'm calling extremists and radicals is Uncle Tom that gets up and talk against everything that's occurring. We know that these senseless killings should not be occurring in this country. As Brother Ryan was stating that right here in Valdosta, we have problems. But until we can get something done for the economically oppressed, things will never change. It always remains the same. Because we face oppression and the black communities are suppressed. We got integration, but we have integrated segregation. And that's a problem. Now, who is going to come up with the methodology to change the concept? Who's going to come up with the factual truth? The bottom line is we got to have some MONEY in our communities. We're going to need to redirect our funds, redirect our spending. And we got to do it in a sensible manner. Things can be done differently. We can sit down and talk and hold conversations. But we got to really do some things. We got to put a curve on poverty. If not, we be seen like this man behind me, and that's a scary scene. So when we become so discombobulated until we become a stranger in the night and a stranger in the day, and before our own children, what do we have to offer? We are our greatest asset. There's a thin line between the factual reality and what's really going on in this world. And I believe that one day we're going to find equilibrium. And I hope that day don't be too far off. We need some money circulating in our communities. It's too one-sided. We need more blacks on the police departments. We need more blacks in positions. And we need to have people to have a better understanding that they have. No, it's not really what you want to think that it is. Now, in the South is still alive. And we don't want to say it's a black and white issue because we don't want to say that. You know that, Brother Ryan?
Yes, sir.
We don't want to say it's a black and white issue because we don't want to say that. That's the only reason it's not. It's because we just simply don't want to say that.
Amen.
Okay? We don't want to say that it's a black and white issue. And the only reason it's not is because we don't want to acknowledge that it is. And
go ahead.
It's the poor people in general, poor whites, poor blacks. It's a class now. And until we can get monies in the circulation and get some equilibrium and justice, things gonna remain the same. But like I said, I applaud those people, for doing whatever they're doing. Them who throwing bricks, I applaud them for throwing that brick. Okay? I know that's terrible for come from a man that's supposed to be a minister and all of this. But the truth is like, because he had a reason. And the reason behind it is, you know what the reason is. In other words, I'd applaud anybody that stand up to show some courage. And people is just tired of it. They're tired of it, bro, right?
Yes, sir.
They're tired of it.
And often people will often talk about the crab mentality of the black man. But the thing about it is this. When you see those crabs in the bucket and you see them crawling to the top and pull the other ones back down, we'll blame the crabs. But very few of us will look at the bottom of the bucket and see, and this is what my brother just said. You don't understand that somebody have put an economic fire beneath that bucket. Those crabs are hot in that bucket. But you never look to see who's causing them the pain at the bottom of the barrel. And this is what he meant when he talked about somebody throwing a rock or a brick. We may not agree with that, but we got to look beneath the need to throw a brick. When people are in pain, you don't see the pain because you don't look beneath the barrel. Here in Valdosta, millions of dollars have come through the city from government agencies, but blacks didn't benefit from it. The paving of the roads, the building of our schools and government buildings, not to mention the Andy Griffin Show. When you look at the Andy Griffin Show, look at the blacks that are employed or not employed. Those white Caucasians took those dollars from all those segregated television stations and programs to take care of their children, send them off to universities, technical schools, and in other areas of a system that could generate revenue for them, while blacks were relegated to manual labor, slave labor, and a total disrespect for them as being human beings created by the same God that created white people. And so now you want to say that this is reverse discrimination. This is the worst president. In fact, they say he is the new Hitler. But look, we have been in this country and we have voted for, when we did get the right to vote, for 43 all-white male presidents. Some of them denied us the right to be called a human being, denied our right to get an education, denied our right, Mr. Robinson, to be able to ensure that our daughter would not go to the slave master's house to produce half-black children. The government didn't protect us from that. And yet those presidents sat in position as President Barack Obama. They said and did nothing, and you didn't see way black folks struck out at them and called them all these dirty names that they're calling this president. So I'm gonna close this point out. I'm gonna let Dr. Robinson close this out. I'm saying this because I want you all to understand something, that God is in control of all of this. God is even in control in Ferguson, whether you believe it or not. And black people and white people are really getting tired of it. They getting tired of seeing their beloved nation to be made look like a Satan around the world by the way she mistreats some of her citizens, blacks in particular, when we fought in every war of this great nation, yet only to return home to have to fight all over again. I remember my granduncle. He worked in New York. He worked in the Cadillac dealership. He was the repairman of nothing but the Cadillacs. He told me, get a skill, use your hands, brother. That's something they can't take away from you. He said, but let me tell you something. I went in the military and I fought in the war, only to come home and couldn't even use the bathroom on a public highway. I couldn't even eat in a restaurant. My granduncle told me about that. And you know what? I am on an 18-month criminal trespass by the Lowndes County Sheriff Department under Sheriff Prime. Now, I just heard some new information a few minutes ago from an individual that was incarcerated in the Lowndes County Jail. And I'm not going to call the deputy's name, and I'm not going to talk about what they did, but I'm saying to the Sheriff Department, I am looking for an attorney. You know, it's time out now for just cutting videos. And since I have made connection with the new Black Lawyers for Justice out of Washington, D.C., we are going to try our best to help bring about change and to help the Founding Fathers' theology of all men being treated with respect, dignity, and the right to vote. And this right to vote that I'm talking about should not be circumvented by the Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, Attorney General Sam Olens, or the Governor Nathan Deal. And what they have done to the Quitman 10+2 in Quitman, Georgia. To everybody who listened, my almost 700,000 views, I want each of you to start supporting me in trying to make things better for your children, my grandchildren, for Doc Robinson's children, his grandchildren, and great-grandchildren if you have any. And we got to start playing this religious game where all we do is go to church and talk about Jesus, Muhammad, Moses, Buddha, etc., but we will not stand up to bring in a better world that would help our men, women, and children while they live, breathe, and try to make a living here in the United States of America. Doc Robinson, close us out in your own way, brother.
Well, the best thing to do is stay unified, keep your presence before God, and understand what's going on around you, and face the factual truth. And like I said, I applaud all those who are standing up, regardless of what way they're showing it. At least they're showing it. And it's going to bring about some changes. Do not stop what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. Listen to all the rhetoric that you want to hear. Listen to all the Democratic and the Republicans and everything else that they often they send at you. But do not stop, whatever you do.
Doc Robinson, before you go, one other question, and I want to answer this myself, but I'll let you answer. I know you can. Here's my question to you. How can it be, America, that white police officers are shooting and killing and murdering black everyday citizens, but the black police officers are not killing whites in the same proportionate numbers as whites are shooting down blacks? Can you answer that?
Well, there's no respect for the black man. Everybody, he's always prejudged, and assumptions are made. It's a mentality that's plaguing this country, and it's a dark mentality. And we will never overcome that until we are rid of that. And time, you know, they say prayer changes things, but time brings about the change. It's gonna take some time to get these changes out. And we don't know which way this thing going to go, but we do know it's one-sided. There is no respect for no black man. And that's basically the major problem, is because we don't have no economic power.
In other words, you are saying that the 1857 Dred Scott decision that was put in place by the Supreme Court, which said that no black man had rights that a white man had to respect.
You're right. Now, let me just take you back to 1829 to William Garrison and abolitionists, who was white, who decided that slavery needed to come to an end. And when they was discussing how to come up with their emancipation, they were discussing how they had to look at things and how they had to conceive things to be. And they said, judged by the colors, intellectual and moral and religious mentality, should he be judged and be permitted to function in a white society. Therefore, all those who didn't comply, apparently, they built jails for them. You see, so if you live below poverty, they're building a jail for you. If you can live, that you can get an education and migrate into the gated community and then comply to the law and become a black white man, then you can live in a gated community. Then you can go on Hannity and speak out in the way that they speak out on Hannity. Okay? But if you live in the projects and you are scuffling trying to come out of the projects, well, they simply build a jail for you. And then by them building a jail for you, they don't mind shooting you. You understand?
Doc, what you mean by a black white man? What you mean by that?
That's just a different method of saying an Uncle Tom.
All right. Well, YouTubers, you've heard it. This is my friend John Robinson. We go way back. A lot of you all don't know it, but we have been fighting for approximately 8 years trying to get some of these federal dollars that come in here through HUD. We have a young man over in Quitman that has his own asphalt company named H&H Paving, and you're going to be hearing more about that. But we are, for everybody, receiving their fair share of the economic pie. We also understand that perhaps for the first time in Valdosta and Lowndes County history, we are going to try to share in some of the finances that's going into the building of the next Valdosta City School system. We should be included. We must be included. We are demanding to be included and going to be included because it is the right thing to do. Just as sure as you hear that train coming, there is something that's happening in Valdosta. You can believe it or you can let it alone. We are sick and tired of just going along to get along and put Negroes in positions. Listen, put Negroes in positions that will not stand up for us when we hear the whistle blowing of $1 million coming into our community. But the ones who are in position, they will not even tell us that the train is rolling in with millions of dollars, even from the federal government, that have saw the need to help black folk, even to the degree that white folk will go out and employ blacks to get those monies. Well, that day is long gone. We no longer blind. We see the train, we hear the whistle blow, we see the driver on the train, and we gonna make the difference. Doc Robinson, close us out, my beautiful brother, once again.
Well, Johnny Cash said you hear the trains are coming. It's coming round the bend. But you ain't gonna bring all this money here and it's not gonna leave again.
All right, you heard it. Once again, that's Doc Robinson, a man that I got the greatest respect for, because one reason is because he's a minister of Jesus Christ and he's not punking out under pressure. He's standing the course. And as you see, the railroad crossing, and these are the crossroads. Ferguson, Quitman, 10+2. We want to thank you for standing up. We want to thank you for not punking out. And once again, I'm asking my 700,000 viewers almost to Google them and appreciate the Quitman 10+2 and write the governor and tell him, along with the Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, that it is indeed a disgrace for them to do what they have done to the Quitman 10+2.
And be proud of your blackness.
Right on. Once again, the Getto Free Press saying to you, we're at the crossroads. And the question is, where are you? Are you in the mix before and after 6? If not, you should be. You should be deeply enrooted in making it better for yourselves, your children, and coming generations. Listen, you cannot fight. Let me put it like this, y'all. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say. You cannot stand up for right if you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, if you're a Jew, if you're a Hindu, or if you just simply do what you do. Listen, we are at the crossroads. Tell your mama and your father, your sister, your brother, and your pastor, you cannot stand up for right unless you are willing to stand up against the wrong. Bye-bye. We gone.